Hi, Charlie. I just really want to know why you feel that abortion should be illegal.
Do you think murder should be illegal?
Murder is illegal.
So you think it should be? Do you think it should be illegal?
I just feel like there's a big difference between like a living, breathing human and then a fetus that is inside of another human's body.
Fair enough. What is the difference?
The difference is a fetus is inside of the body. You know what I'm saying? Like a fetus, it can't live on its own.
Got it. So let's go through a couple questions there.
Okay.
Why does somebody's location determine their moral worth?
It doesn't, but it's simply about the fact of if you feel like that's what you need to do with your body, then that's what you do. Because I could also
Well, hold on a second. If it's not your DNA, how is it your body?
It is your DNA.
No, it's not.
It's a part of you. It's growing in you. It's connected to you by an umbilical cord. It is a part of you.
1 second. It's attached.
A part.
It's attached. Hold on a second. It's attached, not a part.
Same thing.
No, it's actually not. A part, by definition, means it remains permanent.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh, okay.
So an attachment is something that is temporary. And so it's not. You are not your mom's DNA. You're not your dad's DNA. You are new deoxyribonucleic acid. So shouldn't we say that if it's not your DNA, it's not your choice?
I mean, you could say that, but I mean, really, I just don't understand how you can use religion to back up your point of...
I haven't used it once. She brought up religion. I'm happy to use a non-religious line of questioning. We all agree murder is wrong.
Okay.
We all agree that it's a human homo sapien.
Do you agree that the death penalty is wrong?
Well, no, I'm actually in support of the death penalty because
Okay.
people do something that justifies that, but that's a separate issue because the baby in utero did not go...
So what about the people who could possibly be proved innocent who have been awaiting their death sentence?
Fair enough. That's a good argument, but it's separate, right? So there's been about 31 exonerations of post-humulus people that have been exonerated of the death penalty. We're talking about a baby that did nothing wrong except exist.
Okay.
In utero, and there's about 1.5 million of them that just get discarded every year. So we agree murder is wrong. We agree it's a homo sapien, meaning it's a human being. Therefore, murder is the forcible termination of a homo sapien. Therefore, shouldn't abortion be wrong and illegal?
So I wasn't going to come up here, but I heard someone talking about how abortions are important because it takes babies out of the population. And I just wanted to say that by saying that, they are wanting to take out very important people. 4 years ago, I was raped by my father, and I chose not to have an abortion, and this is what came out of it.
I'm very sorry that happened to you. That is, and it was a terrible thing that happened to you. What is your message to people that say babies conceived in are not human beings?
They are absolutely human beings. They are made individually by God, and they can do some very important things. I believe that he'll grow up and he'll help people, and based on all of our experiences, we can try and keep them from doing the same thing that their parents did.
Praise God. You turned something evil into something good. So God bless you, and thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Erica. I'm from Long Island, New York.
I love the name Erica.
Thank you. I was homeless a year ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you were homeless.
I'm not anymore, so it
praise
turns
God.
around.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
God bless.
And there's hope for everybody.
Yeah, I went through a lot of really gnarly things being homeless. If I had enough time to tell you everything, I would. I never, ever want children for myself. I have severe mental health issues, and I suffer from depression, attempted suicides. So I have some dark history. And I know for a fact that I was not meant to put on this earth to have children. I do understand where you stand with abortion. I do think it should be a choice, but up to a certain time. Do you think that we should just ban it altogether?
So I'm 100% pro-life. Would you agree that if it's not your DNA, it's not your choice?
Yes.
I think you're somewhat selling yourself short, because look how long you've grown in a year. You went from homeless to here.
I know.
Imagine how much you could grow to one day be a mother. Now, you might say, you don't know me, blah, blah, blah.
No, that's fine.
But don't live under the bigotry of low expectations.
I'm not going to.
So if the story you tell yourself is that, hey, I can't ever be a mom, then that's who you're going to be.
I'm a cat mom.
It's okay. That's fair. Hey, you're living a good life. You were homeless a year ago. You're not anymore, right? So
Yes.
praise God. The story you tell yourself is who you become. What you aim at is what you hit. Is it a human being in the womb? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then why don't you get the human being rights?
Well, that's what I'm trying to just...
No, ask the question. Why does that human not get rights and you do?
Well, my question
No, answer
is...
the question. Why do you get rights and the baby doesn't?
I'm not saying it doesn't.
Yeah. Your right to life, eliminate it. That's the first, the most fundamental right of the West. Why don't you get that right to the baby?
Well, I'm not saying I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm asking whether you would force your wife.
Well, no, hold on a second. Do you, very fundamentally, do you believe that every human being has a right to life, regardless how small you are or what level of development that you are on?
I do believe that every person does have a right to life. Yes.
You do not believe that?
I do.
Okay, then we agree. Abortion should be eliminated, not allowed.
And you would force your mother, you'd force your wife to stay with a violinist.
Again,
Attached to a violinist for her whole life.
you are gruesomely describing a universal truth that we will protect life no matter how small or level of development in the environment or the degree of dependency. And again, I will throw it back to you because it's very easy to use this analogy to make it seem like I'm unreasonable. But you're actually the unreasonable one here, saying that I will eliminate the human being just because, for what reason? There is no excuse for murder, period.
We are allowing babies every single year to just say, you know, we're going to discard them. Why? Oh, they're smaller. They're not humans. You're using dehumanizing language saying, oh, it's an embryo. No, that's a baby made in the image of God, deserving of protection.
What do you do with those children once they're born into a bad household?
So now we've transitioned to, like, what do you do with the kids?
Right.
Glad we're past the other part of the argument, okay? What do you do with them? You know there's twice as many people on the adoption waiting list than there are abortions every single year?
And they're still on the list. So you want to send a child into an orphanage?
Well,
is that what you want for a child? Is that a good life for a child?
No, I'm not advocating that. In fact, I'm advocating to make it easier to be able to adopt, number one. Number two, there's no such thing as an unwanted child. Number three, it is never right to justify the mass elimination or termination of people under the guise of saying they're unwanted. That's how we get Auschwitz. That's how we get the greatest horrors of the 20th century. Those people are unwanted.
So you're comparing abortion to the Holocaust?
Absolutely, I am. In fact, it's worse. It's worse.
It's really not. I don't think it is.
It's 45 million babies. It's nearly 8 times worse than the Holocaust. What's the moral difference between a small baby in the womb and a grown Jew who was killed at Auschwitz? What's the moral difference? One is older?
Is a person?
What species is the baby in the womb?
It's a human, but it's
Therefore, they should have human rights.
No!
They should have human rights.
I do not agree.
Oh, so small humans, no human rights. Grown humans, human rights.
It's not a small human. It's an embryo.
You just said it was a human species.
It's not a living human child.
Wait, it's not a what?
It's not a child.
But
it's not a living child.
It has a heartbeat. It has brain
waves. That does not
waves.
make it a child.
But tell me when it becomes a child then.
I already told you, when it is born.
Again, so under every other objective definition, you see guys how quickly the pro-abortion arguments fall apart with just the slightest questioning? But our position is one rooted not in feelings, not in personal autonomy, but one in biological consistency and reality. That your life had an agreed upon starting point, that starting point should be protected and preserved. And the excuses given for abortion is dehumanization. Oh, it's just an embryo. Guys, that's just using different language to justify the massacre of something smaller than you. That's all that it is. So here are the big objections. Size. It's smaller than me, then I should be able to get rid of it. I'm 6'5". Should I be able to murder people smaller than me? Of course not. You don't believe that. Level of development. Oh, it's not as progressed as, this is your argument. It's not as progressed as we are, therefore we have rights over it. So my 10-month-old baby, why should I not be able to eliminate my 10-month-old baby?
As someone who was conceived through IVF, why should I also be morally against it?
Good question. Okay, so as a pro-lifer, first and foremost, we have to have an issue with the discarded fertilized eggs that happened during IVF. That's why you guys are twins. Is because during your creation process, if I can be provocatively blunt, you lost a lot of your siblings.
Yes.
Right? Am I correct in saying that?
So for our older sisters, they had 6 embryos in their batch. 2 came out, of course, but for us, there were 3, and then 2 came out.
Yeah, and so that's my first problem, is that it definitionally is saying, like, we're going to discard life to get to life. But it is basically we're going to kill 5 to let 1 live. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah,
and albeit, you guys are going to have a great life because of IVF, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Charlie. My name is Jonathan Ramirez. I happen to be a conservative. I went to 3 Trump rallies. I'm very serious about my stance on politics and supporting people who voice the same principles that I agree with. Despite me being a conservative, I do happen to be pro-choice. How do you feel on the matter, and where as a nation we can come together to agree on something sensible?
Sure. Well, I'll just ask you, when do you think human life begins?
Me personally, when I feel like it begins with the heartbeat, sir.
Okay, so you would a 6-week ban is okay then?
I'm pro-choice with exceptions. No woman, I don't feel like if a woman is due to have a child next week that she could choose to abort the child. That's not decency. That's not decent.
Okay, so but why a heartbeat? Like, what's the reason for that?
Why a heartbeat?
Yeah, like, so do you think we should not allow abortions right around 6 weeks? I'm just trying to
However,
understand.
I feel like 6 weeks is slightly too early, only because, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a gynecologist, but that means that week 6, that meant missed her period by 3 weeks, give or take, and that's already, then it's too late.
Potentially, right, but there's a heartbeat around 6 weeks. So,
Correct.
So just to play it out, that would be a termination of human life, right?
Correct.
Right, so why do we have murder laws then?
You ask, why do we have murder laws?
Yeah, because that'd be murdering a kid, right? If it's a human life, by your own estimation.
Correct. You stumped me there. I'm not gonna lie, you did stump me there. I contradict myself where I stand with the matter. That's why I'm asking more or less what's
That's okay.
your take on it.
Yeah, so my take is this: life begins at conception, and when life is formed in the womb, and deoxyribonucleic acid is created, a new being comes into formation, and that being is still growing. It's still on its process, but we as human beings tend to have size, level of development, environmental, and degree of dependency privilege. We think just because we're bigger and stronger and no longer in a womb, we have a moral right to do whatever we want to those that are still in the womb. And the toughest questions are the ones when we ask, what does it have to do with me, and is it worthy of protecting those that can't protect themselves? And so to be consistent, we say that's when human life begins. And just because the being is small, just because the being is in a womb, doesn't mean that we have a moral right to obliterate it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
I think you're actually pro-life.
I am. I just think, of personal situations and
That's understandable.
Things that matter.
But let's play that out just for a second. Situational ethics, for example, if a family is going bankrupt because the 4-year-old is eating too much food, you can't kill the 4-year-old to be able to reduce the family budget, right?
Correct. If I have the time, I will say for one reason that I do happen to be pro-choice. A lot of people that is pro-life feels like it is an extremity for women that is already on the system to continue to have more kids.
I hear you.
To be given more funds. So with the same notion, I feel like it's like having your cake and eating it too. If you don't want women to be able to have the option at all to get an abortion, but feels like they shouldn't continue to get more welfare, that means that child being brought into the world is going to not be brought up to the same measures.
I think you're coming at it from a good perspective. That I reject kind of situational Malthusian ethics in that regard, in the sense that if it just makes your life easier, it doesn't mean you can commit an injustice against another human being. The same goes for arson or robbery or whatever it might be. But I will agree that we have to make it easier to adopt kids in America. There's 2 million families right now on the adoption waiting list, and there's a million abortions every single year. So the idea of an unwanted pregnancy is statistically untrue. And I believe that churches and communities, and yes, even at times city and state and local governments, need to step up and say, okay, we want Roe repealed, but we have to make sure that families and parents and moms have the support that they need. And I'll say one final thing, I think you agree. To the cowardly men that impregnate women and disappear, shame on you, and you're a big part of this problem.
100% correct.
God bless you. Thank you. It is never the right thing to murder if a baby's going to be born into a slum. By what moral paradigm is that ever defensible?
If the baby's growing up and then it's, I'm not going to say babies don't have feelings when they're in the womb. I'm sure that there's science that they do.
I believe they have souls, right?
Okay, well, what if it's 1.5 years old and it's dying because it can't eat and it can't get nutrients because its mother can't breastfeed?
That doesn't happen in this country. It doesn't. We have an obesity problem, not a starvation problem. We have food stamps. We have food shelters. In this country, that's not an issue. Now, maybe in sub-Saharan Africa, that's a better argument, for sure.
But so you would just prefer like adoption though and stuff?
Well, adoption, or it's like take responsibility for your orgasms. Like don't get.
But a baby shouldn't be like a punishment though, right? Like
exactly, a baby's not a disease or a tumor, so stop trying to remove it like it's a tumor. A baby's not a punishment. A baby's a blessing.
Right.
What an amazing blessing to be able to bring life into the world. You see yourself in that baby, and as someone who's had 2 kids, it changes you. And for those of you that don't have kids that are like, shaking your heads, you have no idea what you're talking about. How all of a sudden you have new conviction, new energy, new spirit, new meaning, new depth, new understanding, where you have this baby that you're responsible for, and you're like, that's gonna outlive me. I'm gonna raise that child. And you're like, oh yeah, I think it's okay to abort it because it's really small and I can't see it. Like, basically you're saying like the Holocaust would have been fine as long as everyone would have been shorter than you.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, I don't really understand that, but
but think about it. I mean, if it's a small baby and it's not as developed, I mean, by what moral standard is abortion okay? We don't murder based on size. We don't murder based on location. It's not okay to kill people in Milwaukee but keep people alive in Madison. Environment doesn't mean anything. Doesn't matter if like where your current environment is, your moral worth, or your degree of dependency, right? We don't go to old people's homes and start just popping off rounds on people that are, have Alzheimer's or dementia. It's like by no other moral standard do we apply to our existence, do we apply to abortion, because abortion deals with something that makes people so uncomfortable, which is that it deals with sex and pleasure and regret. And we think it's okay then to just kind of sweep a mistake under the rug, something you regret. I'll never think about it before, but there's a victim in that circumstance.
Right, but something you'll regret, something that you would consider a mistake, is a baby. And so obviously you're saying you'd want to have that baby born, but like a person shouldn't regret and mistake and then look at this baby and think about that.
Yeah, that's where you have to take responsibility for your actions. And again, you can put it up for adoption, you can give it up to family members, but under no moral standard should we as human beings ever espouse should you be able to have evil just to make yourself feel better, just to make your life easier. By no moral standard is that okay. And if you think that moral standard is there, then we can have that discussion, right? Yeah. But we all know it's not true. You guys are all decent, good people, obviously.